In probably the second longest movie title of 2020, Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams star in the Netflix original film Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga. Is this musical comedy based off a real-life contest worth watching? Two Icelandic singers get to compete for their dreams and represent their country in the Eurovision Song Contest, which pits singers from all over Europe in a televised singing competition. Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams star as Lars and Sigrid, respectively. They've grown up together and they share the dream of performing at and winning the Eurovision contest. Will Ferrell is pretty much himself in this. I mean, he's good through a lot of it, but there are points where he just began to grate on me. Some I think is because they took the scenes too far. They were going for some extended awkward comedy type thing and it just didn't work. Rachel McAdams is also fine in this. She's got a sweet quality to her. It's not really naive, but more of a dreamer. They work really well together, sometimes totally in sync, and other times horrendously colliding. This is made even more possible because of Lars's need to succeed and shine. I mean, it's fueled by his desire to prove to his father that he can indeed become successful as a singer. Lars's father is played by Pierce Brosnan, who does a really good job. I mean, especially as this father figure dream crusher. The man just has no compassion, no allowance for his son to dream. He's just like, nope, let's be totally real. You suck. You're never going to make it. Even though he doesn't necessarily suck. Probably the standout in this movie is Dan Stevens, playing a Russian singer, Alexander Lemtov. He's gloriously smarmy and totally self-absorbed. You're pretty sure you can't trust him, but there's this quality to him that makes you want to at least try and trust him. There's also a fun cameo from Graham Norton, so if you're a fan of his, this is a treat. I really like his sarcastic wit, and I truly could just listen to his voice all day long because I love the manner in which he speaks. I love the tone. I love his accent as well, and it's pleasing to my ears at least. The movie is 2 hours and 3 minutes, and it's just about as long as the movie's title, and it's way too long. There are several scenes which could be trimmed or cut. I mean, a couple of them are there only to set up future scenes. And really, when thought about it, when you look at those future scenes, they still could have been executed. Maybe with another line of dialogue or maybe just a small tweaking here or there. And then you cut out minutes and minutes of previous extraneous stuff. Like I said too, even on some scenes that they should keep, they play those out for too long. They're going for the whole awkward comedy. And at some points it begins to work and then it just feels forced. It becomes unfunny. It becomes more irritating than anything. The musical numbers in this are a lot of fun. I mean, some gave me chills. There's a good Pitch Perfect-esque mashup where you have a lot of different singers and a lot of different songs happening in one scene, and it works really, really well. There is an awkward moment to this because some of the singers start singing to the camera, and that doesn't happen in any other part of the scene other than televised portions of a contest, where then that makes sense because they are singing to an audience that's behind the camera. The Eurovision part of the show, because it's a contest and because it's a competition and you have all of these performers singing their songs, it reminded me a little bit of kind of the final jam in Camp Rock, which also helps a little bit because Demi Lovato has a small cameo in this movie as well. I like the visuals throughout the film. I mean, it felt like a constant music video. Sometimes it's very frenetic and moving. Other times it's very calm and peaceful. Now, the setup for Lars and Sigrid to be able to go to this competition is a little bit forced and quite cruel, actually, when you look at the circumstances. And really, when I think about it more, the humor through a lot of the movie is very biting, especially towards Lars and Sigrid, and really even Iceland. And it's done by the people themselves who live there. So it's very self-defacing or self-demeaning. It became a little bit of a bummer to me to watch that because it wasn't funny. There were moments where it did fit and it did make me chuckle, but then over the long haul of it, it became tiresome. Like, okay, stop making fun of your country. Stop putting your people down because they don't suck. Some of that self-demeaning thinking does play in to Lars's motivation. And like I said before, he's trying to prove his dad wrong. His dad believes that he can't do it, that he doesn't have what it takes, or that the singing competition just in general is stupid. But that's his dream. And so he wants to prove him, look, Dad, I can do this. This is worthy. I am worthy of it. So you have Iceland as a whole, or a lot of the people, putting down their own contestants, And then on the smaller scale, you have the father putting down the son and mirroring that. So the theme makes sense. I mean, I get it. It became a little bit of a bummer. There's a small love story going on in this too. It's very predictable. I mean, that's not really a bad thing. It's weaving its way in and out. I don't think it really makes or breaks the movie. Because really, the things that make and break the movie, at least break the movie, is the forced comedy and the long runtime. If you like music-themed movies, then you really can get some enjoyment out of this. I mean, like I said, the musical performances, the songs that they sing are outstanding. Some of them I wish they would have been longer, like they were maybe a 15 or a 20-second version of what could be a full song. But there is one towards the end that truly did give me chills. And I wanted to find out, did Rachel McAdams actually sing the songs that she is, I mean, she's there, she's, it feels like she's singing them. And the answer that I got was yes and no. She sang one song in completion, and then she would begin certain songs, and then an Icelandic singer who apparently was on the Eurovision contest at one point finished the songs and sang them in their entirety. And whoa, got a good voice. Actually want to find out what that singer's name is and check her out. So this is decent for a casual watch. I mean, just know going in though that it's a time investment if you're going to sit there and watch it, because it is a little bit long. It does have a little bit of forced comedy, but there is also a little bit of sweetness to it. There's no sex, nudity, or violence, but there is a lot of profanity and sexual innuendo and dialogue. I give Eurovision Song Contest The Story of Fire Saga, oh, I got it right the first time, 3 out of 5 couches. Do you watch music contest shows? Do you have a favorite? I loved watching the audition parts of American Idol, especially the train wrecks. That was my favorite part of the whole show. I would just stop watching after the auditions happened. I'd love to know, though, what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.